My name is Robert Hyman. I'm a full-time demonstrator with Vitamix. And since we have a few weeks off, I'm going to share with you some recipes that I like to make. Now, I'm currently at home and I'm taking you over to my kitchen now. My kitchen's really small, and so it'd be kind of hard to film in there and show you everything that we do. So as you saw, I set up my full demonstration table, and that's where we're going to make our recipes. So let's get started. So today we are going to make tomato basil soup, one of my absolute favorites. Here are the ingredients: a little bit of water, a can of diced tomatoes, 1 Roma tomato, clove of garlic, some vegetable bouillon. You can use salt and pepper. I use something else. Basil, some garbanzo beans, and some spinach. So let's get started. We're going to add the water first. Now you just use regular cold water. We'll be talking about this in a little bit. 2½ cups. You put in a can of diced tomatoes. I use some organic ones. You can also use dried tomatoes too, right? I like that one. 1 fresh Roma tomato. And then we'll put in a clove of garlic. Love fresh garlic. And a little bit of vegetable bouillon. Let's put that in there. Oh, no. Let's peel it first. Definitely want to peel the vegetable bouillon. There we go. Let's put in, like I said, we could use some salt and pepper here, but I like this no salt. I put in a couple tablespoons. You know, if you want to use regular salt and pepper, that's fine. And then since we're making tomato basil, let's go ahead and put in some basil. Of course, might be best if the container was open. So there you go. A little bit of fresh basil. Actually, you could use fresh basil. I like to use that instead. It's easier for me here at the home. And it's time to get started. Let's go ahead and put the lid on. Now, we're using the Vitamix A3500. It has presets built into the machine. So I just hit the soup preset and hit start. Now, I don't have to babysit it. Now, we talked about water for a minute, or at least I mentioned cold water. The machine is going to actually heat the water up for you. There is no need to preheat the water. Now, I've sort of sped the time up here. In real time, it would take about 6 minutes from scratch with cold water to make the soup. But there's no need to start with preheated water. Just put it in cold, and you'll see what happens here in just a second. But it's going to heat it up for you, so there's no need for a stove. It's all about the Vitamix. There we go, a couple more seconds. Now watch this. Look how hot this gets. Wow, look at that. That's so cool. Let's do that in super slow-mo. Super slow-mo. All right, so let's go ahead and put the lid back on. We have a couple things that we're going to add at the very end. See, what we've basically done is made just a soup base. We want there to be a little chunkiness in there. So we add some stuff at the very end, right? A little bit of substance. So there's some fresh spinach, and I'm going to add some garbanzo beans. Now, the reason why we're adding them at the end is because we don't want to liquefy them like we liquefied everything else. So I'm just going to turn my speed to number 3 there, my variable speed, and I just hit the pulse button. All right, the A3500 has a pulse button on it. So I just hit it a couple, 3-4 times just to break that stuff up just a little bit. And there you go, dinner. Fresh tomato basil soup made from scratch in 6 minutes. With no stove, no microwave, no dirty pots and pans. There's nothing dirty in the kitchen at all except for that Vitamix container, and it cleans itself. All right, put a little garnish on there. You know, all about presentation, right? And there you go, tomato basil soup. Enjoy.